Hey, in the garage with me today, I got Jeff Biegum from Seatbelt Solutions. How you doing, Jeff?
Thanks, Dennis. Thanks for having me.
You know, seatbelts are something you don't tend to think about till you need them, but how did you get thinking about it? How did you get into doing seatbelts?
Well, one of the cars that I had purchased, didn't have seatbelts in it, and that's kind of where it started. I went to, purchase the seatbelts thinking I could get them at any one of the distributors that are out there, and
What was the car?
Wasn't able to do it. It was a 75 Corvette.
Well, what I didn't know, seatbelt's a seatbelt, which turns out is not true.
Well,
if you look, here, this is a Concours Correct Corvette setup here, and you have what we call it panels. This is a three-panel webbing, and that's what they had back in the 60s, right?
That is consistent with what they were making seatbelts with, in the 60s and early 70s. They were using the three-panel webbing, right down to, we have equipment, machines that allow us to do the same sew blocks. So, you can't really tell the difference between the original and the one that we made, right down to the end fittings, and that happens to be for a '64 Corvette or Chevy product.
Well, no, if this is a three-panel, this is a seven-panel. What's the difference?
As seatbelts have evolved, the paneling changes, and for us, we want to make them look identical. So we went back and we made that. That's basically 7-panel webbing, something we get in 29 different colors. And that's something that you'll find probably for more of a generic setup, I guess. If you had a hot rod and you wanted to go, it had no seatbelts, and you wanted to go ahead and put
7 panels, fine.
7 panels, fine.
But
because there was nothing in there.
Concours Corvette, it better be the 3-panel.
Well, I think so. I'm an original equipment guy. I think that
the judges think so.
Well,
too.
exactly. Yes, they
it's funny.
do.
It's funny how they are that way. So these are also OE correct colors and everything.
Exactly.
But over here you got this ring of, the rainbow ring. How many colors are there?
Well, we have 29 in the 7-panel, and we have a large influence from the female buyers today, and our production floor looks like the rainbow. We're making stuff out of all different colors, and that's what they want.
I
custom
dig the fact
colors
that that you also have the correct color thread to stitch these things. They're usually done in all black, aren't they?
Well, exactly. And when you mention that to somebody, they go, well, that's no big deal. It ought to be that way. Well, when we got into the industry 10 years ago, it wasn't that way.
Obviously, you're licensed. You got GM, you got the bow tie there. This is a pretty complex setup here. What's this for?
Well, 74 to 77 Corvette, this is kind of our flagship product. Right-left retractor, it's tested to today's standards. If you were to take the original equipment belts, they would not pass the FMVSS requirements. So, we've made this so if you unfortunately roll over the car, it's made to protect you, keep you in place. So it's today's standard.
Race belts.
Race belts. Yeah, that's, you would think that with all the racing and all the, NASCAR and drag racing and here in the United States, we're big enthusiasts about racing, but all the belts come, from overseas. So we decided to get into the SFI market, which is the governing body who tests these.
And these are dated. You can only use these for a couple years,
well,
right?
Exactly. The funny thing, back when I was racing years ago, you'd spend $500 for a Simpson race belt, and you'd go ahead and have it recertified because it made sense. These today you buy for $89 retail, and you just buy a new set in 2 years. But they are like a piece of fruit. They will spoil after 2 years. We probably have, the most extensive test facility in the aftermarket. We test everything from cycles on how many times a retractor can get pulled out for the lifetime, and
just like the OEs, basically.
Exactly.
And to OE specs and beyond.
Yes, exactly.
So how do I know I'm getting a Seatbelt Solutions seatbelt?
The best thing is first, ask the distributor you're doing business with, do you handle them? And if they say no, my recommendation is
go
to
to
call
another
distributor. But there's tags on all of these, and the tags tell, the origin, and it'll either be a product that says made in China, or it'll be a product that says Seatbelt Solutions made in Jupiter, Florida.
So you guys basically put the safety in safety belts.
Yes, we do.
That's what it's all about, too.
That's what it's all about.
Hey, if you want to learn anything more about these great seatbelts from Seatbelt Solutions, log on to myclassiccar.com. And all those colors, man, I got a car that teal would fit perfect.
Just let us know.
AutoGeek.net. We are car care.